Happy signing day, everybody. Welcome inside the Country Financial Studio. I'm Joey Mack. It's time for our signing day special presented by McDelivery. We will talk with every member of the Oregon coaching staff over the next couple hours, as it's like Christmas morning for Oregon football and everybody else around the country. We will break down every recruit, watch some highlights, and it's really going to feel like a film study with the coaching staff. Our leadoff hitter, we were just discussing before we went live on the stream, is offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Joe Moorhead. Coach, I got to tell you, it is absolutely great to talk with you, and it's great to see you. Happy signing day. Is this as exciting of a day for you guys as any other day in the year?
Always, the culmination of a year's worth of work by the recruiting staff, the coaches, great celebration for the players and their families making their decision, and deciding where they're going to spend the next 4 to 5 years, and always a very enjoyable day.
23 recruits signed by you and the rest of the Oregon football staff, and 2 of them coming in today. I know it's a little bit of a different cycle this time around, isn't it? With everybody still getting used to the early signing period and now this later signing period. You guys feel like you hit on everything that you wanted to in this different looking system?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at the offensive side of the ball, just the way we were able to essentially go through every position and sign a 4 or 5 star guy at every spot, and adding to the size, the speed, the athleticism, the culture of the program. I'm this is year 22 or 23, and I can't remember a class with this much quality and depth. I mean, it's just super exciting.
12 offensive players signed. I know a lot of people always gravitate toward that QB on the position chart, Coach. Tell us about Ty Thompson. What does he bring to the table for your squad?
Yeah, I don't know that there's enough superlatives to talk about this guy, and you're seeing the film kind of run here. Systematically, we always look for a guy that can beat you with his arms, his arm, his leg, and his brains. And Ty can do all those things. Can make every throw, at all different arm angles, in the pocket, off platform, on the move. Throws it well short, throws the intermediate ball, throws it great deep. Runs the ball by design or improvisation. Loves the process. He's into development and learning. He's a great kid from an awesome family. But at the end of the day, the kid's a winner. 3-time state champion, threw for almost 10,000 career yards, completed almost 70% of his passes this year. And there's a reason why, he's rated a 5-star.
He's the first
on campus, doing a great job already. He's got an unbelievably bright future.
I was just going to say, Coach, first 5-star quarterback ever to sign with Oregon. I think
Oh, really?
that'll raise some eyebrows, and that's a testament to you and your staff. You mentioned him already being here. I mean, how much of an advantage is that for a quarterback, Coach?
I think it's, I don't want to say becoming the norm for that position, but for a kid like Ty, who's incredibly mature, I think he was looking to the next step, of his life, to move on to college. And guys who are cut from that cloth, they want to come in, they want to learn, and they want to compete. And always at that position, that extra time during spring ball is so valuable in their development. And I know he's excited about it.
He's going to enter into a quarterback battle where you guys have a lot of talent in that room already, don't you?
Absolutely. And the neat thing about him, you talked about what's different in the process, that Ty was our last visitor on campus prior to the quarantine hitting. So that was clutch to be able to get Ty, his dad Dirk, his mom Melissa, get them up here on campus, and before everything shut down. And once Ty jumped in the boat, I think you saw a good trickle down of guys who everyone wants to play with a great quarterback. So getting him in the boat early was very instrumental for our class.
Coach, how about in general? You mentioned now it's a little different, right? No on-campus recruits. Everybody's always said that when you get a kid on campus at Oregon, that's kind of the game changer. At least I've heard a lot of coaches talk about that. It was a little different this year trying to go about this recruiting cycle.
It was, and I think in a lot of ways it was a positive for our staff, because while I think Oregon has the best facilities in the country, and a lot of things that kids see here they don't see in other places, at the end of the day, it's still a relationship business. And the amount of time that we were able to spend on Zooms and phone calls and getting to know them personally, kind of replacing the on-campus visits and some of the things like that, I think it played into our favor, because you can't fake that authenticity, and I think the kids saw that in our staff.
You added one offensive player today in Byron Cardwell, running back coming out of the Southern California area. Coach, he's the #1 rated running back in the West. Tell us about what he brings to your running back room.
Yeah, Coach Mastro continues to churn out these recruits, did a phenomenal job. I think the thing that you see with Byron is he's got a little bit of small back skill and a big back body, that he can churn and make the tough yards between the tackles and get downhill on you. Like you see here, stick his foot in the ground and make a cut. But he's also a guy, when he gets it on the perimeter, he can take the thing to the house. And I think that's, you look at the guys that have been successful in this. Obviously, CJ was a little bit, banged up this year, but Travis, running the ball, catching the ball, all the guys that we've had to play in this offense in the past, I think Byron will be a tremendous fit.
He goes into, similar to your quarterback room, same question, a very talented, deep running back group, and boy, he can move, can he?
Yeah, this guy can go. He can scoot. He's like I say, very multifaceted. You see him running the ball, you see him catching the ball, you see him running routes. Big, thick kid who can pass protect. Another West Coast guy. I mean, just checks off all the boxes.
How about the depth in that running back group too, Coach? You got to be pretty excited about everything you have coming back.
Yeah, a lot of weapons. It'll be great to get CJ back and have him healthy for a full season. I think we kind of, didn't see his best in this system just because he was banged up. But Travis Dye certainly broke out. Sean Dollars in the USC game, he's incredibly talented. Got Trey coming back, some of the other guys, and then you add this guy to the room. It's an embarrassment of riches in a lot of ways.
It's a good problem for Coach Mastro, isn't it?
Great problem to have.
How about the wide receiver position? You guys bring in 3 recruits, all of which very highly touted, and another group with a lot of guys coming back. Break down your wide receiver room for us.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about start on the West Coast and work our way east. Troy Franklin, unbelievable talent, long guy, very fast, very precise route runner. Does things after the catch with the ball in his hand. Just a really, really special talent. One of the top recruits in the country and definitely one of the best guys. Is this him right here? Right, running? Yep,
that's him
on the West Coast. Double move right there. Just a really, really special player. I could keep talking about him all day, but once again, intermediate routes, screen routes, deep routes, and to me, the thing. The specialness is in the separation. There's a lot of guys that catch the ball and, they're good for where the ball's caught and they get tackled and they fall on the ground. But this is a guy that, the exciting thing happens after the catch. And I think that's, when you look at explosive teams and explosive offenses, that's what happens.
Next on the list, I'll just go down to the wide receiver group for you. Isaiah Brevard brings a lot to the table at 6'4", the freshman out of Memphis.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable guy. I've been recruiting Isaiah since he was a 9th grader. But just a big, strong physical presence, 6'4", a guy that's probably going to grow to be 225 pounds, has a lot of ability to make contested catches because he's got such a big frame and strong hands. But another guy, I think the theme of this group is speed, right? And they're guys that can get open, they're guys that can catch the ball, and guys that can do things after the catch. Yeah, very good basketball player, great family, and like I said, a lot of time invested in Isaiah from before I got here, and once again, he's never been on campus, and the relationships are what paid off.
Yeah, you mentioned speed being the theme, but Coach, I look at 6'2", 6'4", and the next guy 6'5", Dante Thornton out of Baltimore. You've got to like the height.
Yeah, the size ain't bad either. We'll take that too.
Tell us a little bit about Dante.
No, Dante, great kid, great family, in a lot of ways, very similar to Isaiah. 6'4", 6'5" guy. You see there, probably not going to want to roll up and press this guy because he's got great technique at the line of scrimmage and he could get off the jam, but at the same time is very much into his craft. You see him all the time, working, whether it's one-on-ones with his trainer, things like that on route running and precision and, finding holes in zones, but, excellent program. And, you find 6'4", 6'5", that can get open, that can separate, that's got strong hands, can catch a ball and make plays in traffic, with the amount of man-to-man you see. I think people will be very hesitant to roll up and try to play press on these guys in tight coverage situations.
Well, we've got a whole lot more to come on the National Signing Day special presented by McDelivery. Coach Moorhead, I could talk to you for hours. I know you've got a lot going on today, so I really appreciate you taking the time, and I promise that we'll run through the rest of the offensive guys with the position coaches, okay?
Absolutely. I was just glad batting leadoff. I wasn't much of a hitter. I was more of a pitcher, so hopefully I leaned into that one and took one for the team. And no, I got someone on base.
Oh, solid. So now you got to, let's see, I got to figure out who's hitting cleanup. Well, Coach Cristobal's probably going to hit cleanup. So,
yeah, absolutely. We'll load him up and let him knock it out.
That's right. Coach Moorhead, thanks for what you do, and thanks for being a Duck. We're sure glad that you're here and looking forward to catching up with you again soon.
Appreciate it, Joey. Have a great day. Go Ducks.
Coach Moorhead, Oregon offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, kind enough to join us as we kick things off on our National Signing Day special presented by McDelivery. And today's show brought to you by McDonald's, the official breakfast of the Ducks. I already had my McDonald's breakfast today. Download the app for great game day deals. McDonald's now delivers with McDelivery. So the way that this is going to work today is coaches will be cycling through. You can see they're in the media center of the Hatfield-Allen complex, and they're able to see film much like all of you are. And it gives me an opportunity now to say, hey, if you guys got questions that you want to ask the coaches, now's the time. I'll do my best to keep up with the comment sections, and we'll get into it. Meanwhile, joining us via the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line now, as we go from the offensive side of the ball to the defensive side of the ball, Ken Wilson is kind enough to join us. Coach, it's been a while since we talked to you. The last time you were sitting here in the nice comfy chair, but with modern technology, we're able to still put you in a comfy chair and talk to you remotely. How are things, Coach?
Things are great. Couldn't be better. Great day.
Is this like Christmas for you? I mean, when the class is finally complete on a day like this?
You know, there's extreme excitement. There's bright futures for all these guys. You know, there's a lot of different emotions. You get to relax a little bit for maybe 3 or 4 hours, and you got to get on to all your 2022 guys and try to go to the next class. But yeah, this is a great day for the 2021s and for the immediate future of the program. And we'll know how good this class is, like any class, 2 or 3 years down the road here. But there's some great bodies coming in.
Hey, you touched on the fact that you guys are always looking toward the future. I mean, how much of that is going on today already, looking ahead and telling the next group, hey, this could be you guys next year?
There's a lot of that. You know, Monday, the NCAA opened it up for us to unlimited call the 2022 recruits that we've only been able to text a little bit here and there, you know. So now, you know, it's an all-out assault, as Coach would say, on the 2022 class and even into the 2023. I mean, we're always looking to bring better players in to compete with the great players we have in this program. And you know, the ultimate goal then is championships and continued championships and success and national championship trophies.
Well, let's talk about one of your recruits. Let's begin with Keith Brown. A lot of people are excited about a kid coming from Oregon and coming to play for the Ducks. Tell us about Keith Brown.
Yeah, Keith's a kid that I think my first week working here 2 years ago, we took the whole staff down on the last recruiting day to Lebanon. And we were talking with Ty Tomlin down there, the head coach, who's a Oregon grad, right, a former player here. And he told us about a player that we then went back and we were doing a tour of all the area coaches. And we went back and watched a little film of him and got back to Ty and had Keith call. And we offered Keith as a freshman, I think, right as my first day. And it's been a great relationship, him and his family. And he's been to a lot of games. He's friends with a lot of our current players. He's a wrestler. He's an inside backer. He's a physical guy. He played running back and, you know, wildcat quarterback. You know, there's a lot of upside with Keith. He's he's outgoing. He's a leader. So, I mean, I got a lot of time with Keith and a lot of time coming up here now. He's already on campus and he'll be in the mix to compete right now in spring ball, and look forward to having him out on the field.
How valuable is it to have him here already, Coach?
Well, it's really valuable for this whole class. You know, we got a lot of these guys already in here and already getting ready to go. And it's an interesting situation, right, with all the COVID protocols that they're learning and how well our team did during the season to stay healthy and keep us playing when a lot of teams couldn't do that. And we're trying to train these guys those protocols, and they're away from home and they want to be out and they want to be doing things and they want to be around their teammates. And so it's a learning process, but it is valuable for them to be out there. And when we get on the field and start working, it's going to be great for those guys for the fall season.
Well, Coach, I'm going to go rapid fire with you then through all of your linebackers. We'll go alphabetical since we started with Keith Brown. And I know some of these guys, we're listing them as outside linebackers, but I imagine conversations already being had, right, of, well, where do they fit, outside, inside? There's always going to be potential for moving around for the best fit, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of these guys are multi-position guys, and they'll be moved around just like the guys that we have in the program right now to put them in the best positions and in the best packages to help us continue to succeed and get better on defense.
Well, let's go then to Brandon Buckner. 6'1" out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Guys went across country to bring in Brandon Buckner.
Yeah. Actually, Brandon's down in Arizona now. You know, his dad's the D-line coach down there. His dad's a very well-respected defensive line coach. He's a well-trained guy. He plays exceptionally hard. He's a relation, a cousin to Braden Swinson, who we got last year out of Atlanta. So there's a lot of family stuff going on there, but you can see how hard he plays, the pass rush ability that he has, the foot speed that he has, and just the relentless way he plays, bring your eyes to him on almost every play. He's on a highly, highly successful high school program down there that's been really good to us. And we're really excited at the special skills that Brandon Buckner brings to the defense.
Hey, you mentioned the Chandler connection. You guys really do have a connection there in Arizona, don't you?
We do. This program has done a great job recruiting in Arizona. We got to continue to do that. We've got some really, really good players from a lot of states, right? We try to take the best player from every state in the West if we could, but we got some really, really good prospects coming out of the state of Arizona. We need to continue that pipeline because those guys have really succeeded here, obviously with Tyler and Johnny Johnson, all the players that we've had, the young offensive linemen that are in. So we got to keep that pipeline going.
You mentioned the connection of Braden Swinson to Brandon Buckner. Well, how about the brotherly connection with Jonathan Flo next?
Yeah, you can't get any closer than that. John is a dynamic player in his own right. He's a little thinner than Justin, but very, very active. He can play inside, outside, a little bit under the size of Justin now, but it's going to be a big guy, very athletic, light on his feet, physical. We're looking forward to getting him in here. He's down. He's at that. They haven't had any spring games down there, so he hasn't played in a while, and he's itching to get back out on the football field and show what all the work that he's done. But he's going to be a good Pac-12 linebacker and really supplement our linebacker room and give us another good athlete that can play inside, outside, and even middle.
Jabril McNeil is next. Listing him as an outside linebacker, 6'4", 225 coming in.
Yeah, Jabril, the guys did a great job of identifying him on the East Coast. He's a 4-position linebacker. You can see on the film he's playing inside. He can play outside. His family's great. He's got a brother at NC State that's a really, really good player. The future is really bright for him. You can see how long he is, how the dimensions of him and where we think we can use him in all the different packages is really exciting. And he's going to be a big, big guy that can really move, and he's physical. And, he's working down there now, working to get here as fast as he can. He'll be a summer guy for us, and he's going to be right in the mix.
Terrell Tillman next up, 6'4", 210 coming from Texas.
Yeah, if you watch Terrell, you're talking about pure speed. He's an edge pass rusher. He's a dynamic pass rusher. He's got really long levers. He's a really good long arm guy, edge pass rush guy in the mode of KT and Braden Swinson and some of those guys that are in the program and have been here. Bryson Young, who came before him, Adrian Jackson, some of those guys that can play multiple positions, but really have speed off the edge and can really, really get after offensive tackles and give us an edge presence in there.
Nice for you, Coach, I imagine, to add all this depth, especially in a year where the depth was tested because of injuries, right?
Yeah, we played a lot of guys, some because they were playing well and some by necessity. And that was the nature of the COVID season. I think, where you're constantly reading on the move and reevaluating and trying to get guys out there. And I think our team, for the most part, did as good as anybody in the country of managing that. We got quarterbacks running down on kickoff and wide receivers playing defensive back. I mean, that was just part of what was going on in this season. And I think coming out the other side is going to help us because a lot of guys got to play, and the competition is going to be, it's going to be fantastic in spring. There's going to be a lot of quality players competing to win jobs around here.
Coach, lastly, Dave asking on the stream, some of the recruiting strategies that had to be adopted because of the virus, do you see some of them continuing? More Zoom calls, I guess.
I think Zoom is a great function for recruiting in these days and age. But the old days when you would have them just on a phone call or a FaceTime on your phone, and you pass the phone around. With Zoom and some of the other functions now, you can contact a linebacker in Miami, and you can have the whole defensive staff or the whole staff for that matter on one call with him and his family, and the relationship building that we can use there and not have to get one guy across country, then two guys across country. We can put these guys that are signed this class, they hear from every one of our coaches. They see their faces on these Zoom calls. And, with Coach Cristobal, I mean, we're setting records with the amount of Zoom calls and Zoom time on on calls right now. So it's been a really good function. I think that's one of the biggest things that's going to continue no matter how soon or how slow we come out of this time period.
So you're telling me that your screen time has been showing, hey, a percentage increase over the last few months, Coach. I see that.
I think all of us have with our iPads and laptops. I think Mario's probably gone through 3 or 4 cell phones just since the summertime. He's burning them out really fast.
Ken Wilson, Oregon linebackers coach. Hey, Coach, thanks for all that you do. Really appreciate it. And I got to say, similar to all of you guys, I could talk to you for hours, but thanks for taking 10 minutes. I know you're busy, and good luck the rest of the day.
Appreciate you, man. Talk to you soon.
Ken Wilson, Oregon linebackers coach, kind enough to join us. Up next, we will go through the rest of the class as Oregon wide receivers coach Brian McClendon is going to join us. You've already heard about some of these wide receivers, but now we're going to go in depth with Coach McClendon. It is our National Signing Day special presented by McDelivery. McDonald's now delivers with McDelivery, and it looks like Coach McClendon getting situated, and I will do my best to keep track of all of your comments. And take into account everything that everybody's talking about. And with that in mind, I'll begin this conversation with Coach McClendon, who's kind enough to join us. Coach, it's great to see you.
It's great to be here.
Man, this is a great day. And actually, this is the first time in the COVID world that you and I have had the opportunity to chat. So first of all, I'm Joey Mack. It's great to virtually meet you. And thanks for being here. Is this like Christmas? I'm going to start every conversation, I feel like, with that question.
Well, I tell you what, it's just a good day. It's a good day. It's a celebration. It's a culmination of a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of energy spent. But this is days that a lot of these guys and families have worked their whole lives to get to this point. And so you see the emotion come out during these times. You see the tears and everybody being happy, and you have to constantly remind people, hey man, this is just the beginning. This is really just the start of everything. This isn't the end all be all to, hey man, we still got a lot of work to go. But it is, man, it's a good day, and it's a day for celebration and everything else like that. But just like any other day of celebration, we have to be ready to move on to the next day and get to work.
Was this the strangest first year in a job you've ever had as a coach?
I think there's no question. There's no question. It's just the strangest year, period. And in the profession, whether it's the first year or whether it's the 19th, this year's been very, very different. A lot of stuff that I feel like, you kind of stumbled upon because of the pandemic that might be here to stay for a little bit, for a little while. Some of the stuff that, you grow tired of in a hurry, that you grow tired of in a hurry. But it's the way of the world now, and everybody has to be able to adapt. Everybody has to be able to move through this thing, and there's no blueprint. I mean, we haven't done 2 signing days in a season and everything else through a worldwide pandemic before. So I mean, this is kind of a new territory for everybody.
No doubt about it. Brian McClendon, Oregon wide receivers coach with us. All right, let's go through the recruits, shall we? I'm going to go alphabetical order for you. So no particular order, I guess, is what I'm supposed to say, like ranking the guys, right? How about Isaiah Brevard? 6'4", 200 pounds, coming from Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, Isaiah is a guy that I had a relationship at my previous job, and him and the relationship that I had with him, the relationship that Coach Joe Moorhead had with him, was something that proved to be extremely important throughout this whole process. He's a guy that I feel like is really, really, he hasn't really tapped his potential yet. He has a bunch of ability. He has the size speed combination. He is a natural hands catcher. But all of these guys, not just him, one thing that I've always looked for in guys is their ability to be able to beat man-to-man and make plays when guys are on them. Just because in any critical situation in the game, third downs, red zone, situation like that, people are going to try to get down on you. They're not going to give you a bunch of access to go out there and catch the ball real easy. And so guys are going to have the ability to be able to make those plays or make catches with people on them. He definitely does that. His size and frame actually gives you opportunities to make plays in the red zone. And, like I said, he's able to kind of box out guys. He does have the speed to be able to run with anybody out there on the football field. And I think his best football is out there way ahead of him. So I'm extremely excited to be able to coach him, and he's a great kid. Come from a really good family, has a good family situation that of support that's going to be back home, and him back home and right outside of Memphis is actually where he's from, even though he grew up over there in Mississippi. But I mean, he's just a really good get for us.
Next up is Troy Franklin, 6'2", 170-pound freshman coming from California.
Yeah, Troy. There's not a play on the field that Troy can't make. And he has the ability to be able to accelerate and stop and start and separate to beat those man-to-man situations, like I was alluding to a little bit earlier, at a very, very high level. He comes from his high school coach, I felt like, did a great job of developing him, and then even after he signed and after he committed, man, getting with us about stuff we wanted him to start working on early and everything else like that. But another good home situation, I mean, where he has a strong parents and strong support system where people at the house, man, they didn't let his kids sit around. They always was urging him to keep working, keep getting better. But just the natural ability to be able to step, separate, and accelerate, and not just that, but make plays after the catch. It's so hard in today's football just to drive 9 plays in a row, 10 plays in a row, 11 plays in a row, and not screw something up, to be honest with you, right? I mean, you have to have the ability to be able to catch a pass and then take it the distance. And he definitely has the ability to be able to do that and make plays once he has the ball in his hand. He gives you return ability. I mean, but the kid's explosive. I mean, he's an explosive kid. And like I said, man, I mean, the guy that's going to be pushing the play, all these guys have the ability to be able to go in there and push the play right away. And so, and he's here early and learning what to do. And him being here in the spring is going to be big for him also.
Next up, 6'5", coming from Baltimore originally, Dante Thornton.
Yeah, Dante, another guy that I had a good relationship with before I even took this job. Me taking the job and us having a relationship made the transition easy for him because he liked Oregon before I took this job also. And so, and he liked me, he liked Oregon, and kind of once I came out here, it was kind of match made in heaven for him. But he's another one of those size speed combination guys that gives you an opportunity, man, to be able to separate versus big and small guys, and then and make these tough traffic catches that you're going to be asked to make in all these critical situations of games. So, I mean, he's another guy, man. He has initial quickness, has the ability to be able to separate, especially for a big guy, and also gives you the ability to be able to make plays once he has the ball in his hands. So, these guys, man, they're coming into a good situation. He's another guy that's going to be that's here already on campus, which is good, so we're getting 2 of those 3 guys already on campus. And so, I mean, learning what to do and learning the systems and getting everything else down. So I'm really excited about not just Dante and not Troy and Isaiah, but I'm excited about the group that we brought in.
How about the entire group, Coach? You've got a lot of guys coming back, a lot of depth, a lot of talent in that wide receiver room. One person was even asking in the comment question, are we going to see a bunch of 5 wide receiver sets because you got so much talent out there?
well, we'll see. I tell you, those guys have, those guys, there are guys that have played a bunch of ball, and we are bringing in a talented group. I mean, these guys, man, which always offers a great competition every single day, which I feel like always makes everybody at their best. We're in a position where guys are going to have to compete every single day. And the thing is that the young guys came in knowing that. The older guys know how I operate, and they know and understand that they got to go out there and compete every single day. So, I mean, competition makes you always present the best version of yourself. And so I feel like, man, we have a really good room where that's going to be the case every single day and every single game. So, if they got to compete and be at their best every single day, then obviously a game should be a byproduct of that. So, we'll see what the future holds as far as sets and personnel groups and everything else when it comes to that. But I do feel like, man, we have good competition and a bunch of good guys, a bunch of good guys that prioritize the right things and work hard and they want to represent the University of Oregon in the right way.
Brian McClendon, man, this has been great. Looking forward to catching up with you more frequently, huh? Let's talk a little bit more film. I love it. Thanks for the time, sir.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Coach Brian McClendon, Oregon wide receiver coach, kind enough to join us. Up next, we're going to talk with Joe Salavea. Still to come, Bobby Williams, Mario Cristobal, Jim Mastro, Rod Chance. Jim Mastro and Rod Chance, two guys that their position groups got deeper today with new additions to this Take Flight 21 class. Alex Mirabal, and we're actually going to finish today's show with the new Oregon defensive coordinator, Tim DeRuyter. We've got all of the coaches coming in and cycling through here in the Hatfield-Dowling complex. This is our National Signing Day special presented by Mick Delivery, and Joe Salavea is going to join us here coming up in a moment. We'll also chat with everybody in the comment section. I'll do my best to keep track of everything on this great day as we celebrate the Oregon 2021 recruiting class. Up next, Joe Salavea. He's kind enough to take some time and join us, the associate head coach for the Ducks, defensive line coach, Joe Salavea. Coach, hey, it's great to see you, sir. How are things?
Man, thank you. Thanks for having us. A blessed morning, and again, big day for a lot of families across the country.
Coach, I want to start with something that you were tweeting about, that this is a day that you can celebrate a lot of hard work and a lot of culture for your program, isn't it?
Yes, I think it starts there. I think the way we do things, the way we carry ourselves speaks volume to everything that we are about as people, and those things that we are constantly challenging and mentoring our guys about, and making sure that we're purposeful and being deliberate with everything that we do, and we're walking the way we talk. And so those are the things that we're excited about.
Looking ahead now, Coach, before we break down some of the guys in this class, I know today can often be a huge focus on next year's group, can it? I think that was kind of part of your message, right, that you tweeted today, like, hey, this is a day where you can celebrate, but you got another group coming in next too.
We're always trying to find and refine ourselves personnel-wise, but also quality of people. Those are the things that goes into the evaluation process. I mean, we're grooming our guys now that are in the room, but also always constantly working and upgrading in every facet and every way.
Let's talk about Keanu Williams, Coach. A 6'5", 280-pound freshman coming from Clovis, California. He's a good addition to the room, isn't he?
Man, he's a great person. Mama did a great job of raising him. He's made of the right stuff. He's here. Very conscientious kid, all in about football, but life after ball and those things. And so we're excited that he's here. He's a long frame that's going to fill in. He can bend, all those intangibles. But the biggest thing is he's a great person, individual that's going to be a great addition to our room.
I look at the film here, Coach, as you can see a little bit with the arrows pointing. I mean, he's got some power to him, doesn't he?
He's got raw ability that's going to continue to be developed. But he shows in the film that he can use his hands. And when you're looking at the pedigree of a defensive line, you're always looking for his striking ability, the ability to be able to tear off blockers, but also pursue and tackle. Those are the things will never change at the line of scrimmage. And we're constantly trying to dominate up front, and those are the things that we're looking for. The perks and the pluses. He's a great kid, and we're excited for him to be a part of this Duck family.
How about the rest of your room, Coach? Break down the depth for us a little bit. You guys got a lot of big pieces coming back.
It's a group that are hungry. They want to prove themselves a lot more so than we did this past season. Keon, looking forward to him establishing himself. He came on strong at the end of the year this past short season. And those are the things that we're excited about in this training cycle. Popo Almavai is a big body. That's, again, he wants to prove his case, and he wants to make sure that, he's going to get that this all-season training going into spring ball. Looking forward to him not just being a player, but a dominant force in the interior line. Dorless, Brandon's got a lot of goals ahead of himself. Part of that is, making sure that he's competing at a high level and doing the things that he needs to do in the study room and in practice that'll help promote that. And so, those three guys are going to be among a cast of guys of other players. Christian Williams, again, another young player that certainly starting to come out of his shell and establishing his contribution to the line play. And we're excited for that as well. Again, it's a room full of hungry guys that are really looking forward to making a case for themselves. That's the biggest thing that we're excited about this training cycle is the guys having a full off-season training that they didn't get a year ago. And so we're looking forward to continue to push, and that's a challenge. We're looking to find a way to have better play, but it starts in the meeting room, starts with the practice, starts with the weight training, but it starts with our mentality. Mentality's got to be physical, and is always going to be that stable. And those are some of the names of a room that is a lot of bodies in there that we're going to push and trying to create competition, so that they can all have an opportunity to contribute in this year's class. But there's so many guys there that I'm excited about and looking forward to putting them out there and let them compete for their opportunities.
How key is this offseason, Coach? I mean, you mentioned that last year was so different. This offseason is a big focus. What are some of your focuses with your group?
I think it's the fundamentals. I think that's where you can really look at the film and see how physical are we at the point of attack. The fundamentals are really is the building block of any player, whether you're the back end, the front end. But I think the continuity, having each other's back and continue to compete with one another. We got to have a little bit of sense of urgency in that. I got to coach that and demand that more. And they deserve that, and I know that's part of the goal going into this winter and spring practices is to really solidify the identity of the physical play at the line of scrimmage. We came to build that, and we're not going to deviate from the plan. But those are the things. Just creating opportunities for all these young men to compete, and that's the bottom line. Competition is going to dictate exactly where a lot of our guys are going to be as we move forward.
And you want guys that embrace that competition, don't you? That's got to be part of the DNA.
That's part of your evaluation. Toughness will trump talent. Toughness is about the commitment to the game. Some guys love the game. Some guys just like the game. We got to get more and more individuals and prospects that live the game of football. Just the brute physicality of the game. Those are the things that you can't put a measure on. You can't measure somebody's heart. Obviously the intangibles of being able to run and bend, those are all goes into the factor, but the care factor, the commitment to the game, and just having that war daddy mentality, those are the things that we'll continue to research and find and bring here into the program, because it's what's going to give us an opportunity to move forward.
Coach, we talked about some of the new guys. I have a couple fans asking in the comments about some of last year's freshmen and how they've developed it, and that depth in the room. We'll talk about those guys a little bit.
Christian, again, is one of those guys that, he continues to show up in practice film and being consistent. That's the biggest thing. We're trying to build consistency as we continue to move forward. Those things are going to help us as a unit develop that continuity. Obviously, Mikel Lafayette, he's another young body that's, he's looking for an opportunity to compete as well. He's got heavy hands. He's a striker. He's still growing. He's 6'4", probably 285, 290 right now. And so I'm excited for him to get an opportunity. Jason Jones, Jason is finally healthy. He's 6'6", 6'5", worked himself into a good shape. He's 320, 25. And again, he's looking for an opportunity to compete. And I think that the commonality for all these young guys is, they're trying to prove their case and trying to make it a point that they are more than capable. So, what do you do is you create competition and you create opportunities within the work place, the practice field, the meeting room, so that they're able to do just that. And again, it's just, starts with the teaching, keeping things concise and simple so that they're able to flourish and compete. So we got Suava. Suava, again, is another young player that we're, looking forward to him to compete and throw his name in there. So we have a room of guys that are wanting to prove in different ways and facets, and we're looking forward to having that. Jake Shipley, really came on. The light is flickering now with Jake, but he's finally getting himself, in a body and a condition to be able to do. That's the other piece of it all. A lot of times people overlook the fact that people's acclimation phase and their transition to college from high school is different. Some are immediate, some are a little later. So the biggest thing is guys can't be anxious, they can't be flustered. They just got to trust the process. We have a blueprint that's proven, all right, and guys just got to believe in that process and continue to work. Because it can be frustrating, it can be flustered for some of these athletes. The biggest goal and the biggest reminder to them and to us all is to trust the process, continue to do it because it works. And so we're excited. I'm excited for these young men to come in and compete. We got a lot of names there, but again, it comes down to consistency and building and reinforcing the physicality among the group.
A lot of names, though. That means good depth. I think a lot of fans should be excited about that, Coach. How do you instill that sort of competitive edge in your guys that want to come in and play right away? A lot of them are probably the best players that they've ever been around with the level of talent that you guys are bringing in. How do you get guys to believe in that process? What are some strategies as a coach?
I think that the overall, the bottom line as you're looking across the country, the teams that are making progress and are competing at a high level, they have dependable depth. It's just not one guy that's playing so much more than it's the unit and the collective effort by everybody. So again, it takes everybody to buy in, everybody to understand, however their opportunity is presented to make good on that and contributing to the team, because it's about the team, the team, the team. I don't know how you can cut it. I don't know where you can cut it, but it comes down to that. Guys got to be all about contributing and not so much as looking at the reps, but the quality of reps that you put in. I think those are the things that comes with culture. And when we're building the culture, our egos are checked at the door. Everybody's got to understand that we're all working for one common goal, and creating those opportunities for guys is really important. Those are the things that we're always, try to be clear about our guys, about their expectations got to be aligned with our team goals and our team culture, because we can't have it any other way. Those are the things that promotes and permeates throughout a team success when you have everyone in the building vying and pulling the same way. And those are the things, those are the challenges. Everybody wants to play to be the mega star that they are, but if they trust the process and they continue to work and not be worried about the end result, but the journey and the process, they'll be in the situation to not only contribute to the team, but have the chance to really elevate themselves in their play. So, those are the things that we're excited about. We're going to make this a competitive unit year in, year out, but it starts up front. It starts with the line of scrimmage play.
Lastly, Coach, I want to ask you about a member of your family. How much fun has it been watching Tahina play on the women's basketball team this year?
She's starting to find her niche. I think the biggest thing that I'm so proud of is just the sheer work ethic she has. Because she's either playing in school or she's practicing, and she's doing the little things. We're always talking about the workouts and the things that you do away from the crowd, away from the spotlight. It's going to permeate to the field of play, and she's been doing that. She's been grooming for her opportunity, and I think that's part of the deal. They're a young team that are as they continue to compete and play together, they're building that continuity. And Coach Graves and the staff has done a tremendous job of continuing to build that up. And so, for me, it's really awesome. She's a great example of defying challenges. She knock on wood, she's coming off of 2 major ACLs, but that didn't really diminish her thirst and her hunger to pursue her dreams and goals to be a part of an elite program. And I'm excited for her, and constantly trying to remind her to continue to be humble and driven in her quest and her play, and being a great person. That's the other piece of it all. And our culture is, it's all about, respecting the opportunity, having self-respect, so that you're able to respect everyone around us. And those are the things that we're constantly mentoring our guys about. Never lose sight of the fact that we're in a place where we can totally control our destiny on and off the field. And so I'm just excited for Tahina and her teammates.
I love it. Coach Joe Salavea, thank you for what you do. Thanks for taking some time to chat with us, and good luck the rest of the day, and looking forward to catching up with you again soon, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Go Ducks.
Joe Salavea, kind enough to join us, Oregon defensive line coach and associate head coach. Mario Cristobal, Oregon football head coach, going to join us here coming up shortly. It is our National Signing Day special presented by McDelivery and brought to you by McDonald's, the official breakfast of the Ducks. Talking about this Take Flight 21 recruiting class, do my best to keep track of your comments and questions here inside the Country Financial Studio. Before we hear from Coach Cristobal, we've got special teams coordinator Bobby Williams. He's kind enough to join us. One of multiple guys that has head coaching experience on this staff, and that's really a testament to just how strong this Oregon football staff is. Coach, it's great to see you again. I wish that you were here in studio with us, but modern technology, this is what we're able to do. Bobby Williams, how are things on a pretty good day for your group?
Good. This is always a special day for young man, special day for us. But this is the life we live. We're been living Zoom for a little bit over a year right now. So.
I hear it. All right, let's talk first about the depth of your group, Coach. I mean, I feel like last year we had so many conversations about different guys stepping up and playing special teams. Special teams often the team guys, right? You had the depth get tested for your unit a year ago.
Well, yes, it was a very challenging year for everybody. We've never had to experience anything, but I have to take my hat off to the players on the team because so many guys had to step up and play a lot of different roles, guys playing in there for the first time. Some guys never had experience playing on special teams, but a lot of guys stepped in and did a great job.
Talk about your kicking depth a little bit, Coach. There's a lot of talent in that room, it seems like.
Well, we got all these guys are going to be coming back and we're looking forward to the continuing improvement. Some guys stepped up for the first time, like Henry Cattleman, he was kind of an unknown, and he stepped in there and really did a tremendous job for us. And Tom Snee really came on this year, and we're just looking for those guys to continue to improve.
All right, let's talk about some of your new recruits. In addition to special teams, also coaching the tight end position. I'm going to go alphabetical for you, Coach, through your couple guys. And let's start with Terrence Ferguson, 6'5". You got to like that coming out of Denver, Colorado.
Yep, good size guy. We were very, very excited about him. We had really developed a great relationship with him and his family. Got to see him last spring, as a matter of fact, a year ago. And Dad was a coach at the high school, and you can see he's definitely a mismatch out there, can flex out. He's also, he can play on defense, and just a very good talent. And we were able to really get a great relationship going with him and got to know his family very well. And as an interesting thing, Terrence had never visited campus. So we had to really do a great job of taking the university, presenting it to him and his family on Zoom. And they really trusted and believing in us. And you can see he's a Duck.
Yeah, and he sure got a lot of skill to him. I mean, watching the film here, Coach, you got to like the frame, as you alluded to, and it seems like he's got some good speed for a tight end.
Like I say, he can be a tremendous mismatch in the slot. He can be a mismatch out on the edge. He could be an inline blocker. Like I say, he has the size and the bulk to really do a lot of different things for us.
Next up, coming from Henderson, Nevada, another big guy, 6'6", 240 pounds. And Coach, forgive me, as a broadcaster, I never like to say anybody's name wrong, so I'm going to defer to you.
Moliki Monteval,
right.
Las Vegas. And again, he was another one that we got out there and got a chance to see him in person and watch him work. Dad was the principal at the high school, which really helped us a lot, but we really developed a great relationship with his family. Now, Moliki did get a chance to visit right before we shut down. So we were able to get him and his family on campus and really develop a great relationship with him. And you can see he's a definite mismatch guy too. He can play out there in the slot. He can play on the edge. He's also an inline blocker. Tremendous talent. So, this was an area that we wanted to address on our team going forward. And we feel we got two really good, young, talented tight ends.
What do you look for in a tight end, Coach? I hear the word mismatch a lot. Are you just looking for a mismatch in talent?
Well, you like to have a guy that's got the size and the speed. A tight end's got to be able to block. inline players. You know, he's got to block the big defenders. Then he's got to go out and line up and run down the field and be a pass receiver. So, you know, these guys are, you can see these guys that play on Sunday. We'll see this weekend some really good, talented tight ends playing in the National Football League. So these guys, they're a prototype, what you're looking for.
Coach, I could talk to you for hours. I just thank you so much for what you've done. Thanks for bringing in a couple new Ducks, and thanks for coming on to talk about them. And looking forward to catching up with you in person, hopefully sooner than later.
All right, sounds good. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Bobby Williams, special teams coach and tight ends coach for the Ducks, breaking down Mataveo and Ferguson coming in as the tight ends. You got to love the mismatch, right? I mean, if that's the conversation you're having about your tight ends, that's usually a good sign because they've got to do a lot of different things. They're going to block a little. They're going to line up in the slot. They're going to line up out wide. I think that the tight end position, though, certainly a good one to talk about. Coming up on our National Signing Day special presented by McDelivery, it's time to talk with the head man. Mario Cristobal, the Oregon football head coach, sitting down to join us here in just a moment via the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line. We're in the Country Financial studio. Coach is coming down just a couple stories from his office to the Hatfield-Dowling Complex Media Center. And, Coach, it's great to see you. I wish that you were here in studio with us, but hey, this is the world that we live in, and you guys have still been able to put together the best recruiting class in program history. You must be pretty proud of your guys today.
Proud of the staff, the way that they worked. I mean, they deserve so much credit for this. Also, our players are very actively involved in just going out there and making sure they're the best ambassadors for the program. So to put this kind of class together and still, still saving a spot for a special talent, I think, we're going to see some unbelievable dividends pay off because of the efforts of everybody.
The culture of your program, Coach. Let's zero in on that a little bit if we could, because you're not only looking for the best talent, you're looking for guys that fit with what you've built here in Eugene.
Undoubtedly, it starts with that, and that's part of the process. And culture, it's tied into so many things. You're looking at guys that are mentally and physically tough, because durability, being able to show up every single day at your very best, that's an ability, and that's something that has to be also assessed and evaluated when you're putting together your people, because we play and we practice a certain way. We promised our guys a certain brand of football, a certain type of Power 5 developmental process that's going to allow them to develop at a higher level than everybody else. And I think what's kind of neat is it's great for parents, not only on the West Coast, but nationally, to see that in just 3 years, with not only the best recruiting classes in the Pac-12 conference, but also winning back-to-back titles. And now guys getting drafted in the first round. We're projected to have multiple years of first-round picks. We are projected to have multiple guys graduate in 3 to 3.5 years flat. Everything is that we're saying is being validated by the actual outcome and the performances. So it just makes us hungrier. It makes us we're more motivated than ever to take that next step, and this class is an excellent step in that direction.
The balance of the class is something I like to always look at, Coach. I mean, 12 on offense, 11 on defense so far. You mentioned a chance to maybe fill in a little bit more as we go. You got to like the balance of this group, right?
Absolutely. Love the balance, love where they're from. You look at the West Coast and so many players that were the best players in their respective states. I mean, gosh, I had it all written down, but it's a lot. The best player in Oregon, the state of Arizona, in Utah, in Nevada, in Colorado, also in New York and Nebraska, the best offensive player in the state of California, the alpha dog at the Elite 11 and Ty Thompson, a couple of 5-stars, and a guy who's a premier, left tackle as well as your quarterback, best wide receiver class in the country, best tight end class in the country, arguably the best O-line class in the country, 2 of the top 10 cornerbacks in the country. I mean, this thing goes on and on and on. And I can't express in words how excited we are, especially in a year where, heck, we had one unofficial visit, right? That last practice before things were shut down because of the pandemic. And that launched us into having a really, I would say, key commitments that were part of the push, part of the momentum that helped build this great class. So just all in all, just so fired up about it.
Well, on my notes, I had it written down, the number one player in each play, and you nailed it. I mean, so thanks. I'm going to let you take over hosting, Coach, and just tell us more about the – no, I'm kidding. How about the two that you add today, Coach? We've spent some time breaking down those that signed in the early signing period. Let's begin with Avante Dickerson coming out of Omaha, Nebraska. You add a cornerback to your group this morning.
Yeah, it's funny. We recruited a quarterback, Colt Anderson, out of the same high school way back at FIU in 2008. We're actually going to get a hold of him, Coach Mirabal and I, this morning. Just great football played in that state, and again, a top 10 corner, tremendous athlete, just tremendous talent. Has a lot of specialist value, special teams value as well. Explosive, long, fast. Great academic guy, just an explosive, tough physical football player. He wants to play a physical brand of football. He wants to be challenged and wants to be on the big stage. So to be able to pry him away from some of the powers that be in that area, it speaks volumes about his desire to be great, and not to mention a great job by Coach Rod Chance and the rest of the staff.
Hey, touching on that before we talk about Byron Cardwell, Coach, I mean, you guys, you want to win the West, but now you're winning across the entire country, as you alluded to. How big of a deal is that as you continue to build this program and this national footprint?
Well, I think it's important to note that, every year it's an honor to be part of this program. It's a privilege. But because we have had success, every single year, it's going to be the type of program where other programs want a piece of and are going to grab at our guys, and the NFL is going to grab at our guys. So it's been a launching pad for a lot of guys in careers and promotions and whatnot. But despite that, one thing that keeps happening, we keep upgrading at every position, and the results keep getting better and better and better in all facets, in terms of championships, in terms of recruiting. So that speaks volumes about the University of Oregon. It speaks volumes about the people that are here, and how there's it's just we want to become that type of machine, and it's shown in the past couple of years. It seems like every time we have a chance to bring somebody in, we end up getting an upgrade, and certainly this is no different this year going forward. So we're really, really excited about the guys. You mentioned Byron Cardwell. Hard to see a talent like that anywhere in the country, let alone out on the West Coast. I know there's some highlights of them I think they're showing right now.
Yep.
But when you're that big, that powerful, and that explosive, you can make people miss subtly, or you could run through them, you could run around them. You could stretch the field from the backfield and be involved in the passing game, and then you could block like he does. And you watch right there, he's a home run hitter. He does it between the tackles. He does it outside, does it in the screen game. Just an unbelievable football player, and just about everybody in the country was after him. He grew up a Duck fan. We were able to find a way to get with him and his family, via telephone, via FaceTime, via Zooms, and he's a Duck. So I can't say enough how excited we are about him as well.
Coach, how about keeping some of the stuff that you guys have had to adopt? We've touched on this a little bit. I know you have, but there's got to be some things that you like in recruiting that you're going to be able to carry forward now for years to come, even when you are able to go back and visit with these guys.
Well, you do, but you just don't like it as much as the in-person interaction. And that's the one thing. I mean, one thing I still remember about, 10, 15 years ago, head coaches were allowed to be out on the road and evaluate, see guys in person. That's really important to me. I miss that tremendously. And from a lot of different standpoints, just the actual interaction, which is why I love college football. I love being able to build those relationships and deal with people. But I also love putting these sets of eyes, and our sets of eyes, I should say, on our prospects and watch them in action, and not just their performance, not just the big plays, but watch them when things aren't going well in a game, how they respond, how they motivate, and how they lead their particular team or their side of the ball. Those things are critical when you're trying to find out, who really is that much better than the other guys that you're recruiting, so you could bring the very best to Eugene.
What's the next step, Coach? Getting ready for another new look offseason. Focuses for your program in the offseason as you head into a 2021 season that can't get here soon enough.
No doubt. Number one is we didn't really have an off season last year. Just didn't have our secret sauce is the way that we train in the off season. It's no secret out there. I mean, we do things a certain way, and we go hard, we go fast. And so that is priority number one, along with our academics, right? Making sure that we do a great job in the classroom, set ourselves up. So when the pandemic clears, that we can go on and execute our internship programs for our players and their future life after football. and then really diving into us, addressing the things that we need to get better at. Having Tim DeRuiter here is awesome. Certainly we did so many good things on defense in 2019, and we had some setbacks this year, but everybody worked hard. Everybody really did their very best. But, there's some areas that Tim has really excelled at, and especially in terms of drastic turnarounds, high level production in areas that we need to improve. So I think our players are going to love the fact that he really understands the entire thing from the front to the back, and he can connect it all together to give us maximum productivity. As well as year 2 in Coach Moorhead's offense and the great things that him and the staff have done. And then really focusing on taking a step on special teams to improve our coverage teams, to improve our return game, to do things to put us in position to win games. We had some flashes and we had some other areas where we need to improve upon, and we acknowledge that, and we're attacking those things hard. And then recruiting never, ever stops. That's never, the moment you do is a moment you take a step back, and we don't have no intention of doing anything but going forward.
Coach Cristobal, I could talk to you for hours. I know it's a busy day, so I thank you for taking the time to join us, and looking forward to catching up with you again heading into the offseason, into the next season. I appreciate the time, sir.
Okay, appreciate you. You have a great one, and go Ducks.
Mario Cristobal, Oregon football head coach, kind enough to join us. Going through some of the numbers there, I mean, you got the top player in Arizona, Colorado, Nebraska, Nevada, New York, Oregon, and Utah. That's the best recruiting class in program history, the best recruiting class in the Pac-12, and it's been that way the last few years here in Eugene, which is awesome. So what Coach Cristobal has been able to do, been really, really cool to see. We continue on the National Signing Day special presented by Mick Delivery. We're going to talk about the running back position a little bit more as Jim Mastro is going to join us here coming up, Oregon running backs coach. Coach, hey, let's first just dive right in. And we've been talking about this guy a lot because he's new to the group this season. Or this day, I should say. But Brian Cardwell, what does the 6', 193-pound San Diego native bring to your running back room?
Yeah, he's a great player. Byron's somebody that I've wanted for a long time. Just it was a numbers game, and so kind of made a backroom deal with Coach Cristobal. Let me take him, please, Coach. And so, we were late to the party in a sense of when we offered him, but he knew the entire time that he's somebody I wanted for over a year. He just brings size. We're looking to get bigger every year, and we've done that. We've got Sean, and now we got Trey. Now we get him. And we've gotten bigger at the position. And that's what we have to do with what Coach Cristobal wants to do in this offense. So he's as dynamic as they come, man. And we're looking for special skill sets. It's the days of a back being able just to do one thing are over. They have to be able to catch it. And I mean, catch it running great routes, understanding coverages. They got to be able to obviously run the ball between the tackles. They got to be able to pick up a blitz. So we're asking these guys to do a lot of things. And, we saw that this year with Travis, how well he was out of the backfield and explosive in the passing game. Well, Byron brings that to us too. And so that's what we're looking for. We're trying to get a bunch of backs that can do it all. And we've got that in our room, and we need depth. That's the most important thing. If you want to win a national championship, you better have depth in that room.
Coach, I asked this sort of tongue in cheek, and I'm half joking, but what's a backroom deal when you're trying to put together a class? I mean, in all seriousness, it is really a Tetris game that you guys are playing, a puzzle that you're trying to put together to get the best pieces in your program, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's a numbers game. You want to take a bunch of them, but you have only so many scholarships to give and so many each position. I tell you, a head coach's job is not easy because you got 10 coaches that all want their guys and they want their room. And so, Coach Cristobal wanted Byron for a long time, but it was a numbers game trying to figure out where do we fit him. Well, with Joe Moorhead's offense, that allows us a bunch of flexibility with Seven McGee. And that's where it became, hey, Seven can do so much for us. Let me have Byron, So finally he gave in and said, you know what, let's go get him. And recruiting Byron was a lot of fun. He was very particular in what he was looking for in the school. That's why he went down to today. Now he could have signed in December, but he's like, not till I know that I'm getting exactly what I want in a college. And so it was very deliberate recruiting process with him. Great family. But he knew what he wanted. He's somebody that asked us if we have a chess club on campus. That was one of the questions. And so that's what you like about a kid. So I couldn't be more thrilled to add Byron to that room that we have already.
Have you played chess with him yet?
I can't play chess.
All right, fair enough. Jim Mastro, Oregon running back coach, joining us. Hey, you mentioned Seven McGee. Let's dive in, and Coach, you'll see some of the highlights rolling on your screen here in a minute. Seven McGee, 5'8", 167-pound, the best player out of the state of New York.
Yeah. Best player in the state, in a lot of states. His skill set is something I've never seen. And I think our whole staff will say that. He gives us the flexibility to do so many different things with him. And everybody around here remembers D'Anthony Thomas. And we all do, right? He gives us that flexibility. And I'm not saying he's him yet, but he gives us the flexibility to do all that stuff. And in Joe Moorhead's offense, he didn't get to put the entire offense isn't in because obviously time and learning it, but having somebody like Seven allows Joe a lot of flexibility to do a lot of the things he wants to do. And Seven can be a running back for us. He can be a slot. He can be an inside receiver. He can return punts. He can return kicks. I mean, he's not the size you want at running back, but he gives you all those other dimensions that allow you to do things with him that you can't do with a lot of different guys.
The depth of your room, Coach. You mentioned how depth is so key. You got a lot of pieces coming back. You got to be pretty excited about that group.
Absolutely. I mean, the days of the one-hit wonder are over. I mean, you can't think you're going to rely on one back to win you a national championship. It's just not going to happen. There might be years, okay, that room is going to get banged up. You better have people in that room that can step up. Like, for example, CJ goes down, Travis, 7 yards of carry and 27 yards of catch. Sean Dollar is going to do some unbelievable things here. So you have so much depth, but you have to have that. If you don't, it's not going to happen for you. We're not looking for what one guy does. We're looking for what the group does. What is that group's yards per carry? What is that group's yards per catch? It's not about one person. It's just hard. And sometimes it works, but if you rely on one and that one goes down, you're in trouble. And
Coach,
can't let that happen.
You touched on this a little bit, and I'm kind of curious to talk bigger picture with you. D'Anthony Thomas 10 years ago today picks Oregon. I think we can all agree it was a huge moment in the history of Oregon. How often on the recruiting trail does his name come up now when you guys are recruiting the next great Ducks?
It does. I mean, those names come up. Oregon comes up. It's more Oregon, the brand, than anything. They remember the players, but it's the Oregon brand that comes up. It's the O. It's what it stands for. It's what Coach Cristobal, the culture he's brought here. We came here, like he says, we came here to pick a fight. We came here to be tough. We came here to be downhill. We came here to do all those things that are the personality of this coaching staff and our head coach. And so that's what comes up more than anything is kind of the culture we built here. And Oregon's not for everybody. We tell our recruits that Oregon is not for everybody. It's not for every coach. You got to understand that you're going to grind, but you're going to grind in a good way, and you're going to grind to win a national championship. That's the goal. It's not just to win 6-7 games and be happy. That's not how it's going to be here. And if that's your expectation, you probably need to go somewhere else.
Talking about your group, let's zero in on how many different guys. I've seen a lot of questions coming in from fans today, Coach. Like, man, how are you going to get all these guys on the field? How are you going to get all these guys on the field and use their productivity?
Well, competition is what breeds greatness. And so, there's no one guy that's got his job set in stone. I love them all to death, but hey, I got a 30-year mortgage and a 1-year contract. I better make sure that I'm playing the best guy.
Right.
That's how Coach wants. That's how we want it. These guys compete with each other every day. If they're not happy, I'm glad they're not happy. I'm glad that they're frustrated. I mean, you just got to compete harder because you care. But at the end of the day, you cannot have one. You have to go into a game with 2.5 ready to play. Because again, if that one guy goes down, you are in trouble. And those guys can all play special teams. Those guys can all catch the ball. They can all run. And our big deal was when we got here, we were so small. I walked in that room and it was 170, 175. Now we have a room full of 200-pounders plus. And that's what you're looking for, especially with the offense that we want to run.
Are you still finding that guys that are coming out of high school, the biggest adjustment into college is the blocking scheme and being able to block effectively?
100%. They never have to do it in high school, and they get here and it's like, oh no, you're a freshman linebacker and you have Noah Sewell blitzing you, better pick him up. Better protect the quarterback. So that's the first thing we work on. It's the first thing we talk about. We talk about it every day and we've gotten a lot better. You still have a ways to go, but you have to understand, you want to carry the ball. You better block.
Off-season, Coach. Last question from me for you is just your focuses for your group in the off-season and what's certainly going to look a little different than a traditional off-season even still.
No, absolutely. And what I'm fortunate enough is I have great leaders. CJ, Travis, and Sean. They don't need to be motivated. I mean, they motivate themselves. They work out even when we're not working out or we're put on pause or we're whatever. Those guys are working out every day. So I have great leadership where I don't really have to do a whole lot. I'll put a message in a group text and CJ and Travis and Sean will take it over and make sure those guys are doing what they're supposed to do. But they understand that it's a skill set and they have to work on every part of their skill set every day.
Jim Mastro, Oregon running back coach, thank you for the time, sir. I always appreciate it, and good luck the rest of the offseason, and congratulations on a great class.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Jim Mastro joining us on our National Signing Day special presented by McDelivery. Today's show brought to you by McDonald's, the official breakfast of the Ducks. Download the app for great game day deals. McDonald's now delivers with McDelivery. We're talking about the Tyke Flight 21 class, and now we're going to jump into the defensive side. We've hit on a lot of the offensive guys, and of course with Byron Cardwell announcing his decision and signing with the Ducks today, that was going to be a focus because a lot of the class has already been in. And next up, we're going to talk with the position coach who added a defensive guy to the Oregon roster today in the best recruiting class in program history. And still to come, we're going to talk offensive line with Alex Mirabal, and new Duck defensive coordinator Tim DeRuiter will be with us on our National Signing Day special presented by McDelivery. Now it's my pleasure, though, to welcome Rod Chance to the show. As Coach, you and I have only had the opportunity to meet about twice, and then, of course, right when you got back, everything shut down, and so instead of having you here in the studio, we're doing it this way. But thanks for doing it, Coach, and I just appreciate it. How was this year for you as a coach? Things must have been a little bit different.
We like to lean into the adversity here at the University of Oregon. So, there's no complaints. What happened with COVID, everybody across the country has been experiencing it. Just force us a little bit to get out of our comfort zone and really find different ways and be creative in order to get the task done. So, the expectation was the expectation, and it takes what it takes. So we were just fortunate enough to have certain procedures in place, and it was a great team effort by everyone to get things done.
All right, let's talk about the guy that you added today. I loved your tweet this morning, by the way. That was just a great social media presence with Avante Dickerson being added to the group. 6 feet, 170-pound freshman. You guys got him out of Omaha, Nebraska. And, Coach mentioned you guys were able to take him away from some pretty powerful programs in that area.
Definitely. Obviously, the reason why you come to Oregon, obviously, we want to make sure we take care of everything that's going on over here on the West Coast, being where we are proximity-wise. But if you come to Oregon, to a place like Oregon, rather, to have that type of brand, to reach across the country, to find the right type of people, the right type of families, that works for us. So, that's part of the challenge, that I accepted when I came here, and I'll look forward to that, the opportunity, one, lock down the West Coast, and at the same time, for the right families, the right people, we have the right marketing strategy, the right branding, to bring those opportunities out here out West.
His ability, just tell us a little bit more about what he brings to your group.
I think for us as a staff, we identified the need that we wanted to add a little bit more top end speed in this class. I believe we definitely got that, with the individuals that we did sign. But that's the first thing you're going to notice off the hump, that he moves at a different pace than everyone else. Avante ran 10.97 as a freshman. He ran 10.6 as a sophomore. Obviously, COVID cut his junior season short in terms of track. But talking to the guys down there at Game Changers Academy, and his coaching staff, they're expecting him to run in the 10.5 range, potentially under. So he has a really smooth running mechanics, really knows how to get to point A to point B. He has position flexibility. Obviously, you see him making plays all over the football field. He'll create immediate special teams value for our football team, whether that's in the return game or in the coverage units by having the speed that he does have. Just an incredible human being. I can't wait for you guys to get an opportunity to meet him. He's very humble. Did not like the recruiting process, was very quiet to himself. His mom, Nicole, they did a really good job, with raising that young man, and it was a joy to be around him, and we were lucky and fortunate to get his services.
Let's go on with the rest of the group, the two guys that you added to the class in December. This is nice, though, with you, Coach. I get a chance to talk about a new guy to the group. It's always fun here, actually, on the second signing day. We'll go in alphabetical order for you, and, Coach, you'll see some highlights on your screen there. Darren Barkin, 6 feet, 170-pound freshman from Spring Valley, California.
Man, Darren, to me, I think he might be the steal out of California. Talking about a kid that's over 6 foot. He runs 4.4 and 40 electronically twice. You just don't see that at the combine sometimes. So for us to have an athlete like that, and still have room to grow his game, comes from a fertile program in terms of the relationships that we do have down in modern day. But we're talking about a young man that comes from a military family. Again, the common theme here is humility. Very humble young man. Very yes sir, no sir about his business, and I'm excited to grow his game. He has position flexibility as well. Coach McClendon and I were kind of going at it a little bit earlier because if you take a look at some of his wide receiver highlights, he's a really good wide receiver as well, which was appealing to us. We pride ourselves in the secondary as being the #1 return unit in the country. So to have a young man like this that has positional value, that can go out there and run routes and make plays and run past high caliber defensive backs, we think that translates over to when he gets the football in his hands on defense. So
very fired up about this young man. I don't know if you can tell in my voice. I think if he's located in a different area, he's probably a guy that has 50 offers just by who he is and what his game shows on tape. So we're fired up about this young man, to say the least.
Hey, so when you're having those conversations and you see a guy that plays wide receiver, plays on offense, and plays on defense, what separates it for you as a coach where you're like, no, you're going to play defense at this level?
Well, I think you got to be honest. That's what we pride ourselves on. You're going to get the truth from us. Okay, you're going to get the treatment like you're our very own son. So for me, I straight up told him, hey, look, I know you're playing wide receiver. I coach the corners. Usually, more times than not, when the corner coach makes the phone call, they kind of know, where this conversation is headed. But just being honest, because some kids doesn't know. I have a saying that, the void in communication is filled with negativity. So I want to make sure that I communicate with the young man, his family, and his coaching staff what our intentions are, where we see him as a program. So I just told him straight up, I coach the corners. I see your value for us as a corner. I know you're a very good wide receiver, which is why I like you, because you have ball skills, you have poise, and we like young men who, when they get their hands on the football, they can do something with it. So I think the key in that is just being honest with the young man, find out, one, what he wants to do and how that fits into your scheme, and at the same time being honest on where you personally see him, as we go forward.
Jalen Davies is the next guy for you, Coach. We'll play some of his highlights as well. 6'1", 185-pound freshman coming from Rancho Cucamonga in California.
Obviously, Jalen has enrolled here, so we're very excited to have him here on campus to get a part of our offseason program. But another young man that has position flexibility, has played football on a high level in terms of playing at modern day with the national schedule, kind of keep that pipeline rolling down here with this class. But Jalen's an incredible young man, has position flexibility. As you see him now, he's playing in the slot. He's played nickel. He plays corner. Corner will be his home position for us to start. And we're excited about him. He has physicality to his game. He can make tackles. And, he's a guy that if it's a fight in the alley, he's going to meet you there. And that's the type of battles that we want to have to create the competition, the championship competition that we want to have each and every day. That's why you come to Oregon. You don't come to Oregon and just go to the front of the line. You come to Oregon to come and compete versus the best athletes, because iron sharpens iron.
Coach, you mentioned that you can play a little bit of that nickel spot. The cornerbacks versus safeties, and I feel like nowadays we could probably just list a guy as a nickel. You really like the versatility in the secondary in addition to that versatility playing offense, defense, don't you?
Definitely. That always comes with the value. But, Jalen is a true cover corner. He just has those abilities that we need someone to cover down in the slot. Not to get into too much specifics, but I know that Coach DeRuiter has some plans, to get multiple corners on the football field. It may not be in the traditional positions that you may see. So I think a person like Jalen, who has that experience in there, when he is asked to step inside, even though his home would be on the outside, having that experience in high school was really going to carry over for him going forward. So we're excited about that. We want to add as many defensive backs that has, as many versatility to their game as possible. So we're just fired up about him because he can do so many different things, and he's willing.
That's what you got to love, right? Is all these guys. You mentioned that humility. It sounds like they're just good young men. You got to like adding that to your program.
Anytime you can add really talented football players to your football team, and they also happen to be exceptional human beings, you got to go all in on that, because character is a premium. And if you find young men who are humble, who are hungry, who have discipline and want to compete and not shying away from the adversity, those young men usually thrive here at the University of Oregon. So we want to compile as many of those people as possible, the best football players, the best character, because we believe those dudes will find a way to make plays for us, find a way to contribute to our football team to push us to that championship level, what we're chasing.
As Coach Cristobal and Coach DeRuiter are looking for another addition to the coaching staff, Coach Chance, I just wanted to ask if we could have you talk us through a little bit of the two safeties that were added to the class as well. I know that's not the position that you focused on right now, but if we could go through some of those highlights, could we do that with you?
Sure, no problem.
Let's do Damon David first. 6'1", 178-pound freshman. You gotta like a guy who I've watched a little bit of the film, Coach, and you're seeing it here. He looks like he's got some good football IQ.
No doubt. I think the first thing you're going to notice about Damon David, Scoop is what we call him, so we can give everybody his nickname now, is that this kid is serious about football. His mental approach to the game since he's been here, because he's enrolled as well, has been impressive just to watch a young man, just really be locked in, dialed in on what he's doing. So we're fairly excited, about the way he started the offseason program. But you talk about a guy that has length, has levers, has the speed to cover from, seam to seam, also willing to throw his body in there as a physical tackler, and still has room to grow his body. We're talking about a young man that, the next time everybody sees him, he's going to be a lot more filled out in terms of that. But we are fired up about his skills. He's got ball skills, as you can see. He's willing to rush the passer in terms of the blitzing scenarios. He could very well step out and play corner. That was a conversation that we were having initially in recruiting him as well, that he did have corner value, that he can step out there. He's another young man that has potential to step in and play in the slot as well.
comes from a great family, is really, really serious about his academics as well. Again, it seems like a common thing that I'm saying, but these are some really humble human beings that are coming into our secondary. And I believe that to build a unit in that way that you can play as many bodies as you possibly can, you need everybody to buy in and cheer for one another and to compete with each other, not necessarily compete against one another. So another valuable addition to our secondary.
Lastly, Jeffrey Bassa, 6'2", 200-pound freshman coming out of Utah.
Man, Jeff Bassa is a physical specimen. The 200 pounds may be generous, because he's actually filling out as we continue to go. But when you see him, he looks like he's ready to play college football right now. We talk about a guy who can play offense or defense, as a 10-8, 100-meter running in terms of the guy being 210 pounds now. So we're very excited about everything that he possibly can do. I'm personally excited to get my hands on him to see what else he can do, because there are things that he was actually doing in high school that we may ask him to do different things that we believe he has the ability to do so. Again, man, really good kid, comes from a really good family, serious about his academics. I think he's going to add value not only to our football team, but also add value to the city of Eugene.
Rod Chance, man, thanks for spending the time with us. This has been great. I'll do film study with you anytime, all right?
Hey, no problem, man. Hey, you got to start early now. You got to get here a little sooner.
That's right. Rod Chance, Oregon quarterbacks coach, thank you for the time, sir, and good luck the rest of the offseason, and congratulations on a great class.
Appreciate you guys. Go Ducks.
Rod Chance joining us on our 2021 National Signing Day special presented by McDelivery. Today's show brought to you by McDonald's, the official breakfast of the Ducks. Download the app for great game day deals. McDonald's now delivers with McDelivery. I'm Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. Thanks for being with us. I've done my best to keep track of some of the comments and questions and ask the coaches as we can. And also, we're going to talk now with one of my favorite guys to chat with, and a guy that I could probably spend 3 hours listening to without asking any questions. And maybe that's exactly how we'll do this interview, as Alex Mirabal is kind enough to sit down and join us next via the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line. Coach, thanks so much for taking the time to be with us, and congratulations on a great class. Let's start generally, and then we're going to watch a little bit of the film with you. Your offensive line group, what did you add to your room with this recruiting class?
We added size, athleticism, toughness. So those are size, athleticism, toughness. Those are things that we won't compromise when we're going out and looking for, the next crop of old linemen here for the Ducks, no matter what year it is. So we added that. We added very, very high character kids, guys that have great work ethic, and you can see it already because we've got 3 of them on campus already. We've got Kingsley, we've got Bram, we've got Jackson, who are already here on campus. So you could see that work ethic, that toughness. You could see that desire, that pride that they have as human beings, let alone football players. You could already see that developing because they're doing everything right. They're going to school. They're doing a little bit of football school. They're working out. They're doing the conditioning. So it's you could see how they attack it. And obviously we've got about 13 of those guys here right now, mid-year. So. It's been awesome to see. So you don't have to wait to open the present. The present's already been opened. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
So,
it's like when you get a present on Christmas Eve, right? I mean,
no doubt. And then we'll have one under the Christmas tree that'll show up here about I think March 26th in Jonah Miller. So he'll also be here mid-year, just a little bit later than those guys.
Sounds great. Well, Alex Mirabal, all right, let's go through the film. We're going to go alphabetical order for you, Coach, beginning with Jackson Light. 6'3", 284-pound, coming from Utah.
Yeah. You know what? Toughness, alpha leader, and you can see he's got ability to get out in space and get after guys. And, he plays without blinders. Like right here, this clip here, if you see that, he's there, boom, and then he turns all the way around. How he saw this guy, I have no idea. And you can't teach that. You either got it or you don't. But he's got that sixth sense. Did a really good job for Corner Canyon, getting out in space on screens. And you know what? He's a winner. He's a winner. He's won 3 state championships. So you don't have to teach him how to win. He's already got that. So he brings that to the table. And obviously this is a big clip that made ESPN and all that stuff where he gets all the way out in space. And he's just got a lot of pride, a lot of pride, a lot of toughness, a lot of leadership. And he's a guy that he'll come in here and compete at the center spot and can also play guard, so he's not just limited to one. I mean, he was a heck of a nose guard for them too. Now he ain't going with Coach Salavea. He's staying in our room, but he's just got one of those things. He's got all the intangibles and the tangibles that you want.
Jonah Miller, next up.
You know what? Jonah is probably the tallest of the guys. He's probably about 6'7", almost near 6'8". You know, and Jonah's kind of a dual guy where you could play him outside at tackle, but you could also play him at guard. You know, and he's done a great job of transforming his body. You know, he's about 270 something pounds now. He was up at 325, 330 pounds, but he's got upper body twitch. Again, he comes from he was at South Point there, and the school that he was at, they've been in the championships almost like every year too, you know. So again, knows how to win and knows what it takes to be in a culture of a winning program. So it's a lot easier for those kind of guys to transition in. So we're excited about having Jonah getting here now on March 26th.
I feel like with a first name like Kingsley, you got to have a pretty great nickname. 6'5", 280 pounds, the one of the best players in the country, Coach.
You know what he is, you know, and he's a 5-star human being. I don't care about the guys who rate those other things, but he's a 5-star human being, and tough, athletic, twitchy, doesn't say a lot, but he lets his actions take care of that. And again, you've already seen he's just got a lot of pride. You know, he's got a lot of pride, and you know he played down there for Gabe Sewell at Orem High School, and you know, is very close to the Sewell family, has a lot of the same traits in terms of pride and energy and spirit. And so, I mean, we're expecting great things from him. You see his length there. You see he can run. You know, at one point he was a basketball player, you know, and I really believe that most tackles at some point in time were basketball players, but we're really, really excited to have him. And it's great to have him here on campus. And I know he was a 5-star guy and all that, but his work ethic, you would think that he was coming in as a 0-star. I mean, he just works, you know, in the classroom, on the field, and he's a tremendously well-mannered kid.
Those are the kind of guys you want, right? I mean, I feel like you just painted the perfect competitor for your program.
You know what? He's a competitor. Light's a competitor. Miller's a competitor. Bram's a competitor. I know you say, well, they're all competitors. Well, that's cliche-ish. Well, yeah, you better go recruit that. You know, and again, you're talking about a kid in Kingsley. Before we get to Bram here, we're talking about a kid in Kingsley who won 4 state championships, so knows how to win. And then, you know, the next guy up obviously is Bram Walden, and Bram is a tough kid, heck of an athlete, got great feet, great hips, is a finisher. Again, Bram's already here as well. He rooms with Jalen Jeffers, who we signed last year. Him and Jalen are like literally like brothers. And but he's a twitchy guy with a lot of pride. Again, he's won 2 state championships. So again, the winning pedigree down there at Saguaro High School, which is one of the best high schools down in Arizona. So we're fired up to have him. Great work ethic, great toughness. You can see all 4 of these guys, they can move in space, you know, and to me, if you can move in space, then you can get yourself in and out of trouble, you know. So if he gets into trouble in a bad body position, he can get himself out of it, you know. And again, Bram's a guy that we expect to help us out at the tackle spot. So we're real fired up, Joey, to have all 4 of these guys in our program, and they're great. Yeah, were they great players? Did they have all these stars? Yeah. But they're just great human beings, and they have a 0-star work ethic, which at the end of the day, these guys are not, you know, if it's, oh, now they get on campus, you got to de-recruit them. No, you don't, because that's not how you recruited them. We didn't blow any smoke up their tail when we were recruiting these guys, and they didn't want it, and they didn't want that. They didn't, you know, did they get edits? Yeah, but that's not what they were about. They weren't about the edits. They weren't about the photo shoots. They were just about, Coach, how are we going to get better as an offensive line and stuff like that? Because I tell them this. I tell the recruits this all the time. Hey, once you get here, you ain't getting no more edits now. You know, once you get here, it's about work, and these guys are about that life. And so we're really excited to have them here in Eugene.
Tell us about the group, Coach, before I let you go, that you have coming back too. A lot of pieces returned for you in what was a new look offensive line, but yeah. I feel like everybody, maybe yourself included, feels like they performed pretty darn well in their first year.
You know what? We were quote unquote the weakness of the team, and that's how they worked. They worked like they were the weakness, and you know, made sure that we changed people's opinion. That was the goal of our unit, you know, and we get them all back. You know, early, some probably took, you know, punching bag for a couple people sometimes, you know, and got a couple black eyes, got, you know, bloody lip and stuff like that, but through the growing pains. But now it's our turn, right? We got them all back. We get them all back, which is great. Heck, we've got Coach Cristobal and I said we've got 18 guys right now in the old line room, and we get them all back. We get all that experience back. So what was kind of a couple rough patches last year, and hey, how's the offensive line going to be and all that other stuff? Now we get to say, hey, we got all returners back, and with competition, with great competition, and that's how these guys are going to get better. And it's awesome because all these guys that are coming back, they've taken these 3 guys that are here already under their wing, and they don't see them. Coach Cristobal makes a major emphasis and a major point to all our coaches and all the players that these new guys, they're not threats to your job. They're brothers. They're part of your brotherhood, and it's your job, just like at home when you have little brothers, it's your job to teach them the way, to teach them how to act, to teach them how to practice, to teach them how to work out, to teach them how to play. And that's what they're doing. I mean, we've got great leadership in that room with a George Moore, an Alex Forsythe, a Ryan Walk, Stephen Jones. We have great leadership there. And those guys right now are in the process of taking these guys that are really good players and trying to teach them our ways of the program. So it's awesome. And we're fired up to be able to have a quote unquote, a new normal type of off season where we're working out. We get to do spring football. We get to do what we got to do in the summer so we can prepare for September 4th when Fresno State comes in, So we're excited.
I'm looking forward to it. Alex Mirabal, thank you for what you do. Congratulations on a great class. And here's looking forward to that off season and 2021 football season. Can't get here soon enough. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Go Ducks.
Alex Mirabal, Oregon offensive line coach, joining us on our 2021 National Signing Day special presented by McDelivery. Today's show brought to you by McDonald's, the official breakfast of the Ducks. Finally, today, we saved the new guy for last. He's officially the cleanup hitter. I know we're not particularly in the right batting order to call him the cleanup hitter anymore, but I feel like to have the new guy and Tim DeRuyter be the last guy on the show, fans, it's going to be great to introduce you to him. Coach, we haven't gotten a chance to meet in person yet. Even though we're actually going to be doing things together this evening. More on that later. Tim DeRuyter, Oregon defensive coordinator, kind enough to join us. Coach, I'm Joey Mack. It's great to be with you. And just, hey, thanks for coming here and working for the Ducks. How excited are you to wear that O on your chest right now?
Joey Mack, I am so fired up to be here. I've mentioned before, from a distance, you always admire what Oregon's been able to do, to be able to be a part of it, to be able to hopefully be that piece that helps us get to the national championship, was such a great challenge for me to, aspire to. And now that I'm finally here, I keep telling everybody, they ask me how I am, and I keep telling them if I was any better, I'd be twins. I'm just so excited to be here.
Oh, I love that. That's a great line. Coach, I guess let's start here, just getting settled in. Now, what's the process been like getting acquainted with the team? And we're talking to you on signing day, but it's a group that you must be excited about, but it's also getting to know the current guys that are on the roster, right?
Yeah, really unique circumstances that we have right now with COVID. Coach introduced me to the team, but I'm like this. We got all the defensive guys like this. So it makes it very, very difficult to just connect with guys. But, I've met individually with all of our outside linebackers. I'm trying to get individual meetings with the rest of our defense. I've seen them out working out and bumped into guys as they're doing things. It's just it's a difficult time. Been watching a lot of tape on them to see where they'll fit in our new defensive package. I think there will be a lot of carryover. And so, talking with some of those guys about structurally what we're going to do, we will base out of both 4 down and 3 down. We're going to give our guys a ton of tools. We're going to, probably do a little bit more things coverage wise and disguise wise. We'll have some different pressure looks and traps, but a lot of the things that they're used to doing, I think we'll do, and hopefully clean some things up and make them be able to play even faster than what we've been able to play. And then, of course, get to know the guys that we're signing on this year's class and the guys we're going after next year. So it's been a little bit of taking a sip out of a fire hydrant. It's coming at you pretty quick. I was able to get my wife in here this last weekend to try to look for a house. So there's that aspect to it too. So I'm just glad that there's 24 hours a day. I'm just trying to figure out when I sleep in there, because most of the time I'm running around doing something.
I thought football coaches operated on like a 32-hour-a-day window.
Well, I keep negotiating with Coach, Cristobal. I said, can we somehow get 6 more hours? If I have that, then I'm all set. But
he still hadn't been able to arrange it. He does a lot of great things, but he can't get that done for me. So
I hear that. Tim DeRuiter, Oregon's new defensive coordinator, joining us. I feel like we're going to touch on some of these guys that you're introducing yourself with now, Coach. But what excites you about what you have coming back? Because it seems like on your group there's a lot of talent and some leadership too of guys that have been through the wars a little bit on this defense.
well, shoot, it shouldn't just seem like it. We've got a lot of talent coming back. You look at those edge guys. We've got some depth there, and we've got some spectacular talent. It starts obviously with KT. He's a guy that I think is really, really the prototype of what you'd love to have in this defense, an edge defender who's long, who can bend, who's extremely athletic. He's not just a pass rushing machine. He's a guy that does a great job of setting an edge. We can work with him with his hand placement, maybe a little bit better to keep fine tuning things. But I really like the physicality he plays with and just the strength he plays with. I mean, he looks really thin when he's down there on the line, but he plays like a much stronger human being. And we're going to, obviously use all those tools with our package. On the other side, you got Mace Funa, and we've got some depth and length with the guys behind. Inside those linebackers, I mean, it's like a national signing day who's who of all these guys that we've got stacked up there. Coach Wilson's done a great job of cultivating that room and then having them develop under his tutelage. So we've got really strong linebacker core up front. I love our length and depth there as well. It's almost like you're one of these basketball teams that tries to put an all-star team together. You don't have enough balls to go around. It's going to be hard for us to get the reps for all our guys. But the good news about that is our guys are going to be fresh. We're going to have 2 and 3 deep guys that we can continue to roll in so that they can play at their fastest. They aren't going to have any kind of an excuse. Well, coach, that was play number 8 of the series and I was dead tired. We're going to keep rolling guys in and make them fresh. So, and there's not going to be much drop-offs between our 1s and 2s. And so when you can have that, depth and the athleticism up front, obviously gives you a chance. And then I really like our back end, particularly at the corners. We've got some very, very talented guys. I thought Mikkel did some really good things last year. We haven't had Dante show up yet, but obviously a highly, highly talented guy. Inside, we got some guys with experience now. Obviously losing Javon last year, you lost some experience and playmaking ability, but it gave an opportunity for guys like Verone to step up. And so really like, the athleticism everywhere. We're going to, get into this spring and let guys compete with the new system, see where guys fit the different pieces. And I'm just excited to see them actually, coming together. Because to me, that's the secret sauce of any team. In COVID, it makes it difficult. I know, Coach Cristobal's talked about this, not having that traditional off season to go through that process, to go through that crucible, which brings our players together, makes it tough. Now, everybody had to do it, but it's one of those things that I think we've got a special process here. And if we can get closer to, normalizing that, I really think that this group is set up for something special.
Coach DeRuiter, I could just hear the excitement in your voice. You must be so fired up to get into this offseason now with conditioning and then whatever spring football is going to look like. What are your focuses with your group as you attack this offseason?
Well, the first thing we've got to do is go through that crucible of training. You don't just show up in August and expect to, make the team. We've got guys that really start to develop their leadership skills, their toughness, their mental toughness training starting in January. And as we move, towards spring ball, all the different phases that we have as we develop our players. And in that, your leadership develops. The guys start to step up who, hold themselves accountable first, but because they've got that credibility, now they can hold others accountable. And that's one of the things, I'm talking with KT about. He's, obviously a great player. Guys look up to him and respect his athleticism and his ability. I want to take him to that next step where he can be not only the great player himself, but hopefully elevate everybody else around him. And I think he's got that personality that he can do it. And I'm just going to try to keep working with him so that he assumes that role and we can bring all the guys up to his level.
What got you into coaching? You just seem like such a passionate guy that just loves football. Where'd this all start for you?
Well, as a kid, I always wanted to coach. My parents would ask me, what do you want to do? And my dad's from Holland. He never played football. He's a son of a dairy farmer. And we had 8 kids. And as I was going through the process, I absolutely loved football. I had some mentors going back to my CYO days, a guy named Bob Fitzpatrick, who at St. Joseph's Elementary School, he would take little old Long Beach St. Joseph's, and we would be in the CYO championship or, the playoffs, the last 4 out of 250 some Catholic schools. We were always there. So I thought, you know what, this coach got something. Then I went to St. John Bosco High School, another, not a huge school, but a football program. Played for a guy named Terry Roach, and the coaches that he brought in, I had tremendous relationships with. And he took us, our mantra, we had some tough years my first couple of years there. My junior year, in fact, we were last in the league, and our mantra was, hey, worst to first. And that next year we got it done. And Coach Roach is one of the legendary coaches down in Southern California. So, having those guys as mentors, I go to the Air Force Academy. I played for Coach Kenny Hatfield, who was, again, another terrific football coach, ended up leaving to go to his alma mater, Arkansas after that. And then Fisher DeBerry, who was probably, I think he's still the all-time leading winningest football coach at the Air Force Academy. He and his staff were guys that had tremendous influences on me. And, going to places and knowing that we didn't always have the most talented team, but we found ways to win. While I was at Air Force, we won 4 games in a row over Notre Dame. We won 4 straight bowl games. And when you're beating teams like Texas and Virginia Tech and Ole Miss in bowl games, you're doing something right. And just being around those guys and seeing how they inspired me as a player to expect to win. And it was all about confidence and all about development. And I thought, you know what, if I can, somehow get into that business, I would absolutely love it. And I was blessed to get a chance to do that.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to talking to you for hours, Coach. Thanks so much for taking the time, and good luck getting settled in Eugene. I can tell you from experience, it's a great place to live, and it's an awesome community here. So thanks for joining the Ducks. Thanks for taking some time to let fans get to know you today, and looking forward to working with you, Coach. I appreciate the time.
Hey, no problem. Look forward to seeing you again the next time, and go Ducks.
Tim DeRuyter, New Oregon defensive coordinator, kind enough to join us. And we've hit on the entire Oregon coaching staff on our National Signing Day show. Just to recap for you, for those of you who have been with us, thanks for doing so. I did my best to keep track of all of the social media and the comments today, but man, the best recruiting class in program history, the best recruiting class in the Pac-12, and a lot of other accolades as the Ducks signed the #1 player in a number of states, including pretty much every state in the West. Our National Signing Day show has been presented by McDelivery and our friends at McDonald's, the official breakfast of the Ducks. Download the app for great game day deals. McDonald's now delivers with McDelivery. Before we go, I want to remind everybody about GoDucks.com/signing day, the hub where you can find everything about all the new recruits, and you can also head to a virtual event tonight at 6 o'clock. We're the appetizer for the day. Mario Cristobal will meet with the media at 11:30. You'll have more from Coach Cristobal there. We'll have it on Duck Insider as well. And then we'll jump into our big event tonight at 6 o'clock that you can register for on GoDucks.com/signing day. And there's also an auction. And I'm happy to say that the Ducks have actually added something new to the auction as well. A way for everybody to be a part of the auction. A send something sweet is what we're calling it. It's a buy it now type thing, no bidding required, and it's a great way to, 1, give a great gift to somebody, and 2, an awesome way to support the Ducks. GoDucks.com/signing day has you covered. It's going to be a cupcake delivery, and that's what you can get. So if you're looking for something for that, special somebody, hey, the auction has you covered in a lot of ways. GoDucks.com/signing day. Our event coming up tonight at 6 o'clock that you can register for. And, of course, you can get in on the auction that has some really amazing, amazing things. Again, to our friends at McDonald's, thank you for making this show possible. I also want to say thanks to Jimmy Stanton and Todd Miles from Oregon Athletic Communications and the entire Oregon football coaching staff for being with us today. And fans, can't get here soon enough, can it? An off season, and the back-to-back Pac-12 champions will be back looking for a 3rd straight coming up next season. And we hope to have you back at Autzen Stadium as well. Wear those masks and do everything that you can so that we can all enjoy some football back in Autzen together. For our director, Scott Phillips, I'm Joey Mack saying so long from our National Signing Day special presented by McDelivery. We'll see you in the offseason, everybody. Go Ducks.